Hola, 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 mi gente. Yeah, no makeup for you today, okay? I just got back from the gym. I was sweating. Fuck y'all. Hi,
They almost
everybody.
got that from me today too, Jen.
Hello. Hey, you're here for the both of us, Lily. You are here for the both of us. Welcome, 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 everybody, to On the Block with Jen. Lily, today's Thursday. Is today Thursday?
Actually, it is Freaky Friday Eve.
It is Freaky Friday Eve, okay? Our security is out sick today. Haran is out sick today. But I'm sure he'll be watching us. He needed the night off, and that's okay because sometimes we need the fucking night off. We're here for you guys all week. All week. Hit that like and subscribe on your way in for Mama. I am Jen. You got Lily from YB Limited and Saint. No, Saint Haran DeMarco is not here this evening, as I said. Tonight, listen, I don't want to talk about this hot garbage, but it seems like the men children of the planet, those who suffer from severe arrested development, this is in the news again. Okay. It's on the timelines. I mean, this shit made it to TMZ Sports. Okay. Yeah. So it's not just the blogs and us YouTubers and us Instagrammers. No, this is now mainstream media. This woman's vagina, Brittany Renner, is mainstream news. Yeah. So, I got in most of my keyboard fisticuffs throughout the night with a bunch of assholes who tried to convince me that they care about body count. We all know that's not true. We're going to break it down. What do you guys think about this ridiculousness? I mean, because it's really ridiculous, but, we bringing the news and dissecting the news. So here we are talking about this woman's vagina.
You know what? I spent the day swatting this story and pow, and trying to get it away from me, and it wouldn't go away.
No, no, Lily.
And then I just had to surrender to the fact that these fools are losing their shit.
Yeah.
And this is an example because this reminds me of when you see a couple fighting,
Mm-hmm,
arguing,
mm-hmm.
and you don't have any emotional attachment to what the fuck they arguing about, but you can see what they say they're arguing about is not what they're really arguing about.
Right. That happens
And
often.
and that's what this situation is giving me. I'm like, okay, say what it is that you really feel. Say what it is that you're really going through, because there's no way in the world you're going to convince me that some lady that you don't know and her body count is affecting you this bad.
Mm-hmm,
You're not going to be able to convince me of that, right?
mm-hmm,
But you're
mm-hmm,
also not going to convince me that ladies that you do know, their
mm-hmm,
body count is affecting you this damn bad. You're not going to convince me of that either.
mm-hmm,
So what's the
mm-hmm,
real problem? Can we talk about that tonight?
mm-hmm. No, Saint, what say you of this mainstream news?
It's not in my feed. I don't know
No.
how you. I don't know how you guys can't get away from it. I certainly get away from it.
Don't you watch sports?
I do. I do.
This
I
guy,
do.
this guy is an athlete. I mean, all the
Yeah.
athletes are talking about this.
All the athletes, because my ex, who's an athlete, called me before the show to talk about the shit.
I mean, Rick Fox chimed in. There's a lot of athletes talking about this, no Saint, and a lot of athletes are now podcasters. So you didn't catch this at all? You
No,
didn't
I
catch a
didn't.
whiff of
I
this?
didn't catch it. I know. I know of Shannon Sharp. I like Shannon Sharp.
Okay.
Not. I'm not too up to date on this Renner lady.
Okay.
But obviously, I guess she has a body count.
That is what they say.
That is what they say. You can fill me in a little bit on it, but I don't think I really, the only people that I think a body count matters to are people that are angry and are trying to weaponize it against women, because this is not something. Yes, when we're in high school, we would, we would talk about, oh, that girl's kind of, but I mean, we're immature too, but that girl's kind of loose. But not one of us, not one of us might have not given that girl a shot, or she gives us a shot. That's almost a way to tell the other guys, hey, man, you might not have luck with everybody, but she's kind of active.
Well, speaking of which, talking about people who want a shot and athletes, Apparently, Rick Fox wants to
Mhm.
be number 37, so he is staking his claim. So, Jen, there's something you say whenever we have this conversation, and this is
Mhm.
Exhibit A showing up,
Mhm.
that they're always in line for the hoes, quote unquote hoes.
Mhm.
Okay, for people who don't want them and don't like them, there seem to always be a line for them,
Yes.
right? That's just so weird to me. I just like
But don't forget something else I say, Lily, that people hate that I say. Wealthy men don't give a fuck. Broke men give a fuck.
Yeah. Yeah.
very
And they
much so.
give a fuck, and they give a fuck very much because they don't have a lot, right? About themselves, right? That bitches care about. Let's just keep it 100 all the way because we're not
Oh,
going to be here long tonight. Okay.
very true.
So it goes back to I grew up in the hood. Okay. It goes back to no one has shit in the hood. So you better not step on my sneakers. Okay. No one has shit in the hood. All I got is my balls and my word because you have nothing else. I want respect because you have nothing else. Right. So similarly, and y'all can get mad. Okay. Body count is a broke man's sport. I said it. You can clip it. You can react to it. Body count is a broke man's sport. Now, Shannon Sharp, Sambo that he may be, okay, because that's what he reminds me of. He reminds me of a fucking claymation character, okay? He reminds me of a fucking claymation character, all right? He does this. He does the bug-eyed, ooh, that shit.
He's so
Shannon Sharp is very good at doing the bug-eyed Negro. Okay. And I know you guys love him. I love me some Unc Sharp. I love me some The motherfucker calls himself Shay Shay. That's all I'm gonna say. Okay.
mm,
He calls himself Shay Shay. So this woman says, I slept with 35 men. And he acts like it's a big deal, bugs his eyes open like he does because that's his shtick, right? Right? He's that
you're
guy.
right. He gives me that.
Yeah, he's that guy. So he bugs his eyes out and acts like that's a big deal. And I'm like, wait a minute. This is an athlete. This isn't a mailman. Okay. I will bet my bag of dry roasted salted edamame beans
Oh, that's a lot.
that that's a lot, Lily. You know how I feel about my edamame beans. Okay.
Mhm.
So I would bet a whole bag that man has been neck deep in vagina with 10 times the body count of that girl. Guaranteed, hands down, without a doubt. Throughout his career, where he's been, parties, states, playing games, backdoor, married, not married. I guarantee that he's been neck deep in the vagina of women with body counts that rival that young woman's. Yet when she said, I slept with 35 men. Oh, I gotta take a swig of liquor. That's a lot of men. That's a lot of men. And you're one of those men that bed those women. And what's the fucking retort over and over again? And then I'm gonna pass the mic again because I'm telling you, I'm sick of these motherfuckers. I'm sick of these broke motherfuckers complaining about vagina. And none of them, not one of them, not one of them who's talking this bullshit online to me, not one of them is at home with a virgin. Not one. Not one. Not one that's married, not one that's single, not one that just has a girlfriend. I said this shit yesterday. Somebody was skeeting all up in your bitch. Okay? She was chock full of sperm that was not yours. Okay? So you can say, well, she only got 5 guys. I told you guys, I heard on a podcast. Well, 5 is enough. Okay, that was 5 different dicks. Okay? That was tracing the inside of your woman's vagina. And some guys said, no, well, my girl only had 3. Okay, that was 3 dicks. 3 dicks before you. That was tracing the inside of your woman's vagina. But what really kills me is that the retort is always, yeah, but they wouldn't marry her. They would
Well,
smash.
you already know.
Listen, I just
So
seen George
tired.
drop. George just said. First, he said, as hypocritical as it is, I do think it matters if they are thinking of making a long term commitment to her. But if they don't mind number 36, then it don't matter. Here's the thing: men don't fucking commit. So that's laughable. You get a bitch that you can tolerate so she can push out some kids, but you don't commit to that bitch. If I walked in and gave you play, you pulling your dick out for me with your wedding band on. You pulling your dick out for me. So you're not committed to anybody. You're committed to yourself. You get you a bitch that's halfway decent to look at, can hold a conversation every now and then. And you say, yeah, I'm going to put some babies up in you. But you don't commit to that bitch. You just bring the woman into your home that you're most comfortable with, but you don't commit to that bitch. You don't commit to that bitch. Again, if I walked in with a 500 body count, I'd be like, hey, what's wrong, Bobby?
They
What you
don't care.
doing? You don't give a damn. Shay don't give a damn. Rick Fox don't give a damn. But if you notice, this plight that we hear is always by a motherfucker with a struggling tax bracket. Always and forever. Either that or he's very, very immature.
Mm-hmm.
Very immature. And that is hence my fucking argument tonight. Things men won't admit about body count. They won't admit it. All night, Lily, like you, I was dodging this shit online, and I just started asking, why y'all don't ask your mother's body count?
Ah, how about that? Hallelujah.
Because
Won't he do it?
I guarantee their mother's body count is a lot more interesting than any strange woman on the internet saying she had 35 people. It's just, I guarantee their mother's body count is more interesting. I think they should start there and then start branching out to the women that they can never get. Okay. So it was funny to me when Shay, okay, Unc Shay did the whole bug out. Oh, 35. Let me get with the liquor. Yuck. Great for a screenshot. Great for a sound bite. But that's his type. That girl that was sitting on that couch who gave no fucks about like, yeah, I fuck 35 men. That's his type. That's Shay's type. So this is funny to me. Yeah, they'll smash. But let me see. Oh, hold up. James just left the super chat, so I'm sure he's on accord to it. Broke, I thought money doesn't improve a man's SMV. We can't win for losing. Okay, so again, these are the women that men like. That's not true, Jen. They just want to smash. Billion-dollar industry, the porn industry. Bitches got rich on OnlyFans because y'all like hoes. I know men more committed to OnlyFans bitches than they are to their wife. Please shut the fuck up with this. Please stop it.
I mean, look at Instagram. Who gets follows? The real sweet and wholesome girl or the hoes? Come on now. Let's just stop with the lies. Let's stop. And the other thing is to add on to your other point. I'm gonna be done in 1 second. No, saying about the tax bracket and how they feel about themselves, especially the people from the hood and everything like that. A lot of them feel like the only thing that they have to offer is dick. So when that's taken away, then like literally a lot of those men put their identity in their dick. Seriously. Because outside of that, it's like they don't have anything else. That's one thing. The other thing is what tripped me out, because we got the DM guys that we pay no attention to. They stay flooding out freaking DMs. But what was hilarious to me during Christmas, when everybody was popping up on the timeline with their pajamas with their wives, and I'm like, oh, you got a wife? You've been in my damn DM all fucking year, and this was like all
Oh,
of them.
Lily.
All of the DM guys were with their wives with the matching pajamas on the 25th, and then back in the DM on the 26th. I'm like, you all full of shit. That's why I
This
say
is
you know
this is
mine.
this is why it makes me laugh when men say we won't commit to her though. You commit to nobody. You commit to your penis. That is the only thing you commit to. Your penis. That is the only thing a man will commit to. You want to fuck her? Okay, let's go. You want marry? You want to fuck her? Okay, let's go. You want to fuck her too?
Okay, let's go. You want to beat off to that one? Okay, let's do. You want to give her $39.99 for OnlyFans? Okay, let's do it.
You commit to your penis. You don't commit to women. I do want to answer this to James Oko before we pass the mic to Saint. James Oko says, broke. I thought money doesn't improve a man's sexual market value. We can't win for losing. Here's the thing. Money does not increase a man's sexual market value. But listen to how women think. Y'all ready for some free game again, fellas? Listen to how women think.
I have to
Okay?
start charging for this shit, putting this behind the paywall.
Definitely. It doesn't turn you into Jason Momoa. However, women like money. And I know it burns your soul and crunches your dick up really tiny, but women like money, whether you like it or not. Y'all like pussy, women like money. That is the truth. Okay? You don't like how it sounds, but even back in the day in the caves, women like the man who can drag in 3 buffaloes instead of 1. It's just a different type of currency. So the guy that used to ooga booga, I got the three buffalo. He was more attractive than the motherfucker who brought in the little antelope. Okay, so fast forward, it's about money. Wait, no, Saint, it's about money. So no, your sexual market value, it doesn't increase. However, the desire for you increases. Why? Because you got more money. So if a bitch got a choice between a broke Jason Momoa and a Jeff Bezos, she gonna want to fuck Jason Momoa, but she's not trading in Jeff Bezos for Jason Momoa. So sexual market value and hypergamy are 2 different things. She'll marry Jeff Bezos. Same thing with you guys. I'll commit to her. I'll commit to the one with 3 body count. It's the same shit. It's the same exact shit. But when it's on your side, you guys get deaf, dumb, and blind. No, Saint.
Well, the cave woman that is going out with the guy, the caveman bringing in 3 buffalo, is still fucking the little pool boy guy. When the guy's going to hunt for the buffalo, she's still fucking a good looking pool boy.
I just said that.
Guy.
I just said that.
Yeah. No, you said she wants. You were saying he wants the 3 guy that drags in 3 buffalo. I'm saying while he's out hunting.
Okay, that's what I just said.
Okay, yeah. Well,
I said you missed it. You got to listen. Yeah. I said Jason Momoa. I said Jason Momoa and Jeff Bezos. I did say though, a woman's not going to trade in Jeff Bezos for Jason Momoa, but she's going to want to fuck Jason Momoa. She's going to want to fuck him bad. Mm-hmm. She's going to want to fuck him bad, right?
Well, I'm just saying the guy's busy. She's gonna go behind his back sometimes, but
but she ain't leaving him though.
No. Another thing is this. It's bullshit. Like, first of all, if a lady's telling you she has a 3 body count, if that's what you want to hear, and that's what makes you happy, you can listen. Believe what you want to believe. That the woman is, for the majority of the time, is going to have a higher body count than you know. Is going to have a higher body count for sure than what you have, for the most part. And there's nothing wrong with that. And listen, there are prostitutes that guys fall in love with.
Mm-hmm.
There are strippers that guys fall in love with. So to act like these women are unwanted, I'll make a bet that Shannon Sharp was turned on. And if he had a chance after, because you know what that means when she tells you she has 35 guys, that means she's available. That means she doesn't have a lot of restrictions. You're not going to have to really work that hard to have a good time. Yep. That's what that means. And it turns guys on. So you can, we won't marry her. Yeah, whatever. We'll see when you can cross that bridge when you get to it, after you spend a little time with this person and maybe she shows interest to you.
And what did Rick Fox say? I want to be 36.
Yeah, and what about Superhead? A lot of guys want to be with Superhead.
That's why she kept having books. After the first book, she had enough content for the second book. You get what I'm saying?
And then, real quick, nobody wants to marry Superhead. Who says she wants to get married? She's making a ton of money. She's making a ton of money and getting all the sex she wants.
So, this is what makes me laugh at things like this and roll my eyes at things like this, because I'm a trans woman. So I know how men play the game and how men are, they play the game for each other, right? They do the song and dance. Like that performance he did was for his audience, right? The performance that these
Yes.
broke men do are for each other. How do I
Yes.
know this? Because I get the homophobes. That's why I'm gonna make a T-shirt that says "Homophobes have good dick." You know, how do I know this? Because they're the main ones. Rah, oh my God, they're wrong. They're this and that. They shouldn't be this. Freaking butt up, you know, when it comes to trans women. The moment everyone turns their back, hey, can I get your number? At the Caribbean Fest, right? I was sitting there. It was hot, so I was trying to get out the way, trying to get in some shade. Some older lady, she sits next to me. She's Jamaican. A Jamaican guy comes up and he starts a conversation with both of us. And he asked the lady next to me, he was like, "You're Jamaican, right?" And she was like, "Yeah." He was like, "You're not Jamaican, are you?" He's talking to me, and I was like, "No." He says, "Yeah, because you know, in my culture, you know, so I'm not trying to, you know, be mean or anything, but in my culture, you know, they really don't like your kind. But I'm okay with you, you know. But my culture is this, and my culture." And Jesus said, "And God, I promise you all, that lady did like this to get something out of her purse." He said, "Can I get your number?" This is my life, you all. So this is why I listen to stuff like this and I laugh because I know it's performance art. That's all it is.
Absolutely. Even online with the I wouldn't. If that chick was in your vicinity and gave your broke ass some play, you'd be bending over. You'd be so happy you'd be doing the bending. Okay? You'd be so happy at a shot.
You'd be doing the bending.
So in TMZ Sports, Brittany Renner just opened up about her sex life to Shannon Sharpe in a big way, revealing she slept with 35 men, a number that stunned the Pro Football Hall of Famer so much he had to take a big swig of booze. The Basketball Wives star made the remark while chatting with Sharpe on his club Shay podcast about Derek Jeter's dating life. Renner said to Sharpe her roster of partners was very comparable to the Yankees legends. And then she told the former Denver Broncos star her body count. Sharpe then reacted as if he had seen a ghost, nearly spitting up his water before shooting some booze. "Oh, Lord," the NFL player said. "Anybody else need a shot of this? We are in a bar, so help yourself." Renner took the intimate conversation even further moments later, telling Sharpe she once caught a yeast infection after having sex with 3 men within 24 hours. The deep convo didn't just stop there, though, because the two then dove into her relationship with her ex-NBA player, PJ Washington. Renner explained she had been on birth control for a decade prior to getting with the Charlotte Hornets forward, but she decided to go off it, have a child with Washington because she thought he was my guy. "I thought I was doing it right," she said. Renner went on to say she's cool with Washington despite their split, lauding his recent engagement to Alicia Chanel. "I've sat down with his fiance," Renner said. "We've had a 4-hour conversation out for brunch. I think they're a perfect match for each other, quite frankly. She don't give a fuck. She birthed the cash register. What does she care about who he marries? She's like, shit, I won't be cleaning his ass, but I'll be shopping with his money." So this goes back to they won't marry her though. These chicks don't want to get married. And the younger you go, the less they want to marry you, motherfuckers. Y'all are a lot of work. And y'all are boring as fuck in marriage. This is the shit y'all don't want to hear. Like, I gotta say it in my Kevin Samuels voice for y'all to worship me. I gotta say it in my Kevin Samuels voice. I'm gonna grow me a light gray beard and sit here in a turtleneck. And I'm gonna get me a little toy that rocks back and forth so y'all can listen to me. Because this is the fucking truth. And y'all don't want to hear it. Y'all didn't even want to hear it when Kevin Samuels said it.
No.
You very conveniently omitted every time he dragged y'all. Every time Kevin Samuels dragged men, you very conveniently omitted that from your shares. Very conveniently. But I'm saying the same fucking thing that he said. And y'all gonna omit it. Y'all gonna wait till, yeah, body count. Do you have a body count? Nobody gives a fuck about y'all broke asses. You don't count in society. Sorry, not sorry. That is the truth. That is our country. That's how it is. And the truth fucking hurts. But the truth is always gonna be the truth. So get you a nice little woman with maybe a 35, 40 body count who'll make you a sandwich every now and then, suck your dick on Tuesdays, and call it a fucking life. Call it a fucking life. Brittany Renner's vagina is none of your business. That's Rick Fox, Shannon Sharpe, PJ Washington territory.
Right.
Brittany belongs to them, Not to your broke ass typing to me on Instagram with a fucking Killmonger avatar. Sir, get back to your comic books. Sir, respectfully. But Brittany Renner belongs to the industry, to the men in 7-figure, 8-figure, 9-figure tax brackets. Matter of fact, she was out to lunch with Shaq not too
Right.
long ago.
And Shaq loves his hoes. And I love Shaq because he doesn't hide it. He's him. He's like, what the hell? You all don't mean anything to me. You can't do anything to me. I like my hoes. He made the Superhead book too. Shout out to him.
Yes, DJ Ted E. That's the life. That's the life. That is what it is.
And then the other side of that coin is, let's hypothetically say that they get this nice, wholesome virgin who don't know how to suck a mean one, who don't know how to, do all the fun tricks and flips and stuff. What is the man going to do? He's going to go seek him out a nice, well-experienced home
Yeah.
to take care of the job. So let's
Yes.
just stop it. Let's stop it.
Yes.
And risk everything. Risk everything.
Yes.
Risk the marriage, risk having to pay alimony and child support, risk having not to see your children every day, risk your coins. Like, you're risking everything for these high body count hoes that y'all don't like. Stop
That don't
it.
mean anything.
That don't mean anything.
Remember, they don't mean
it.
anything.
Let's stop it.
Yo,
please.
I literally know men getting into arguments. Okay, can think of a couple in particular. A man getting into an argument with his wife because he claims there's not money for X, Y, and Z, but the motherfucker is subscribed to more than one OnlyFans bitch. All these men, he won't commit to her. Meanwhile, that OnlyFans model is taking her boyfriend to lunch with your money, you dumb fuck. So you do very much. Every time, listen, next time motherfucker tells you, you don't commit to, you're very committed to hoes. You're extremely committed to hoes. Like extremely committed to hoes. Like wives and good girls get ran over so y'all could get the hoes. I mean, ran over, brokenhearted, depressed. Y'all will run a bitch over for the opportunity to pay for a hoe, watch a hoe fuck, watch a hoe talk, watch a hoe dance. Okay? Strip clubs are filled to the brim with men. Y'all love hoes. Y'all are committed to hoes. And the sooner y'all admit it, sigh and release yourself, the happier everybody will be. Be like Shaq. Shaq was out with Brittany to lunch. Be like Rick Fox. Can I be number 36?
Real men stand on what they believe in.
Absolutely.
That's why I've always that's why I like men who don't look for approval from other men. I tend to go after the lone wolf, especially because I am trans, right? So it's like, if you're going to be with me, you gotta be a strong motherfucker. You can't be one of these pretend like, because I used to date this guy and he was on the DL, and it was just so weird to me because I'm like, okay, you're performing for your friends who also are trying to fuck me, and you all are performing for each other. This shit is weird. But you call each other friends. Okay.
Hello, Haran. Great point. Haran says, if most of the dudes in this chat woke up with 40 million in their account, if they aren't married, I doubt they'd immediately be searching for the one. The one is usually for broke or average men. It's the truth. If these motherfuckers woke up with 40 million, they'd fucking run. They'd be at AVN out here in Vegas. That's where all porn stars show. They'd be out here at AVN in fucking Vegas, seeing which one they could get because they could see her in person. They'd be buying cars so they could pull up to the hoes. They're not going to be, they're going to buy cars and Lambos to pull up to see what woman walks out of the library after her shift. You think that's where they're going? They're going to go buy Lamborghinis and then pull up to Verizon or the post office, okay? Or the bank or to the library and wait to see what women get off their shift. No, they're going straight to where the hoes are. Y'all are committed to hoes. You always have been. You always will be. You always have been. You always will be. That is why porn is $1 billion industry with your money. Extremely committed to the whole. As a matter of fact, Brittany Renner shot to fame because y'all are so fucking obsessed with the hoes. Deion Sanders, or if I had Brittany Renner back in my day, I would have saved a couple $1 million. He walked the quote unquote hole to talk to his boys. And I fucking guarantee, after she gave her, well, look, this is what happens when you get with one of me. I bet you at the little brunch afterwards, if any of them dudes were available and she was like, hey, they would have fucked her that night. So it was funny that Deion Sanders was like, yeah, I brought her in here to warn these guys.
I bet that was a good one. Warning. Got a good one.
Look, after that meeting was over, they were all like, Brittany Renner. Oh, shit.
All right. Ooh.
Okay.
All right.
Oh, Shorty working with something.
Right.
And then when they found out she had a kid with a basketball player, oh, that's prime cut meat, baby.
I was just about to say, yep. It's like
she's official.
If she's official, when she gets endorsed, the bigger the name that she gets endorsed by, the more guys want to fuck her. Let's just keep it real tonight. Can we do that? Can we keep it real tonight? Please.
Can we? I guarantee Rick Fox wants to get in there. I guarantee. I don't even think he was playing, Lily. I don't even think he was playing.
No.
I don't think he was playing. Shaq was out to lunch with her the other day. I don't think he was playing.
I don't think so either.
I don't think so.
Oh Lord.
I don't think so. I'm just tired. I'm tired of the bullshit.
He was just throwing out a flyer, see what happens.
Yeah, never know.
Right.
He threw out one of Lily's earrings. He threw out one of Lily's earrings. I'm tired of the bullshit. I'm tired. And men think that they can hide, right, their whole ventures, their whole love behind, but he wouldn't commit to her. He wouldn't marry her though. You can't hide behind that no more. Porn is $1 billion industry. How many times I got to fucking say it? You guys went crazy for OnlyFans.
Social media exposed all of this.
All of it.
It exposed all of it.
You know how many fuckers claim to hate me all in my inbox?
Exactly.
What you doing?
Social media exposed all the lies, all the cap, because the data's in. The data is in, and the data says, y'all love hoes.
Listen, I said before that being very attractive is, for a woman, is like a man having a lot of money. It's a commodity. It gets you indoors. It gets you fans. It gets people wanting to be with you and be around you. It's the same shit. Didn't Tyrese say yesterday he found a girl in a $12 dress and she's leaving now in a divorce getting paid $20,000 a month? Right? So obviously her looks made her equal to his wallet. And you guys could say, but she's getting $20,000 a month now. And according to Tyrese, he met her in a $12 dress. But y'all don't want to listen to mama from the block. You don't want to listen to me. I told you an attractive woman is like a man being rich. It's the best card that you can have to fucking play if you're an attractive woman.
How often does a man look at a woman and be like, she looks like she's got a lot of money? Or, she looks like she's smart. That's not.
Never.
It's just not how it goes. It's just not how it goes. You're going to get blinded by the looks.
Matter of fact, they don't even want women too smart. Be careful. They don't want women too smart.
And don't be smart and successful and beautiful.
You just made yourself ugly. You just made yourself ugly. No, he'll pass for a Brittany Renner. He'll pass. He'll pass.
Yeah. You just like that.
George, I love you back, George. I'm just seeing the comment now. I love you right back. George, join us. Join us. What do you think about this madness? All right.
You know, my first comment to you, my first thing to you was legit. And then when you threw out what you've been saying, I was like, you know what? She's fucking right. It's just like I was sitting here thinking, just walking it through. And like when you talked about the thing where kind of like, if I was like no looks, but I had a lot of money, Brittany Renters of the world, whoever, would want to get with me. But then, like you said, they want to go fuck Jason Momoa. It's kind of like, but then Jason Momoa says, I love you. But she says, oh no, George has got $40 billion. I'm going home to George. And I may give him a little bit here and there just to keep him from whining and griping too much.
Right. And that's the God bless America. That's how it is.
And really, if you're a decent person, listen, the money will get you in the door. She may end up falling in love with you. It's not always, looks. Listen, I remember a girl in high school that I didn't find attractive at all. But the more I got to know her, the more attractive she became to me. You know what I mean? So, those things happen too. So.
No, Zane, let me just co-sign you right quick. It happens all the time. Okay. We date a guy, super average or below average or a Picasso, like I say. Okay. Not the best in the looks. And the longer we're with him, women will find a way to find him attractive. We'll dissect you, right? We'll be like, oh, he got a pot belly, but I love how broad his shoulders are. Oh, he's short, but look at those beautiful hands. Look at my man, the way he uses his hands. Women do that all the time. And we mean that shit. It's like a freaking mechanism. It's a thing that we have. It's a filter that we have. And we will genuinely fall in love with that thing to make up for, oh, this isn't Jason Momoa. Women will do that. And that is why, if you notice, it's a running joke, but that is why when we break up, what happens? Or when we argue, what happens? We start saying what we really think. That's why you ain't got that's why your dick is little. That's why you short. That's why I don't like your pot belly. You bald headed, blah, blah, blah. See, because why? Because she takes off them glasses that she put on to love you. That's why. That's why.
Listen, let's go ahead and apologize because I think we're giving a little bit too much truth this evening. And this should have came with a trigger warning. But and I say that because I see how these men go out of their way to keep this lie going, even though it's been exposed through social media.
It's a lie.
Lily, I gotta ask you a question. You mentioned something earlier. You basically said, hey, straight men want to play this game about, hey, I don't do gay men, all that.
It's the same game.
Okay, same game, but they do it. Then afterwards, you like tell them like, you just like crossed over the line there, right? You're like, you can't hold the straight card no more. They
don't care.
No, okay. It's just all bullshit.
It's all bullshit. The only thing people care about is knowing. That's the only thing people care about. They don't really care in real life. You know what I'm saying?
It sounds like Lily. I have this saying: the more somebody tries to convince me, like if I sat here and said, "George I am so trustworthy. I am so trustworthy. You can believe me. This, that, the other." You know what? You better hang on to your wallet because I'm probably dishonest as fuck.
Yep.
It's like I noticed this with women who act like I would never do that. I'd never do this. I found them personal experience to be the biggest ones.
Yep.
And I'd say to them, I thought you didn't do this. And they were like, ha ha ha,
hold on, Lily. We got 40 people in the room. Let's get those likes up, people. You're enjoying this. We're giving you free game. Okay. We're giving y'all free game for a little while. We're going to be here for a little while only. Get them likes up for mama. I know this hurts, but it's medicine. Okay. You'll love me next time you approach a beautiful woman. Okay. You'll love me because you're going to be like Jen said. Hit them likes for me, please. Or super chat.
And your point about the whole thing about body count, I used to be one of those. And then, it's like over the past year or so since I've been on here, I'm like, you know what? Let that shit go. Mm-hmm. Number one, if I've been with more women, who am I to hold that against her? Right.
Right.
Drake said that.
If we're just going to look at it at that level, right?
And George, that's why I said earlier, I don't know if you caught it, but I said I'm about to get a t-shirt that says homophobes have good dick. Ask me
Oh,
how I
that's
know.
hilarious. That's hilarious.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm
That
gonna make a shirt because that is
Lily's lessons. That needs to
Lily's
be
lesson.
next
Oh, that
Lily's
is
lesson.
Lily's lesson. That's next week's Lily's lesson. Because I can,
Lily's
and
lesson.
listen, I can do a whole book on just that topic alone,
You
like
know,
volumes of that shit. Like it's because I've seen this my entire life, and it's like I say, it's performance art. So now I know what I'm looking at when I see it. Because once you see the color blue so many times, you know blue when you see it. Can't nobody, no one has to convince you and tell you that's the color blue, right? So, like I said, this has been my life. So I can tell this the moment I see it. I'm like, they're just putting on for each other. They don't care, but they
And
have to put this on.
and here's the thing, it's so charged. It comes from way back, right? Like way back in the day, tribes, whatever, people in caves, people they were just fucking. Right? There was no marriage per se. It was survival. It was like the lions, the tigers are coming. We got to get some buffalo. We got to eat. And then marriage came to be. And then religion came to be. And then virtuous woman. And you have to be a virgin and all of that. And all of that was fed to us constantly, constantly. However, what they didn't factor in was that we're still human beings. We're still that animal. So it doesn't matter what restrictions you put on us via rules,
Hmm.
regulations, law, or religion. You can't change the nature. Okay. And it's like you said, Lily, it's like how many times are humans going to say a thing and then do the opposite before they admit they truly are that opposite? I don't know any freaking relationship. I don't know any marriage. I don't know boyfriend, girlfriend, cousins, my experiences, my parents. I don't know anyone who's been happily fucking committed an entire lifetime with another human being. Those people are outliers.
Hmm.
Every
They are.
time I ask an old couple, hey, what's the secret? What? Because, I was a young, budding, you know what I mean? Bright eyed, bushy tailed young woman. And I would ask these old couples, because I'm a people sponge, what's the secret? They all roll their eyes, huff and puff. It's a lot of work, girl. It's a lot of, one woman said, if you think you're going to be married and infidelity is not going to be a part of your marriage, then you're crazy. I was like, whoa, hey, this is what it is? Yeah, I'm going to pass on that, sis. I'm going to pass on that. I'm good. I'm
Oh
okay.
my! I'm gonna tell you what my favorite one is. This is when I was still waiting tables. I had this old couple. They've been together for 65 years. And I'm like, oh my God, 65 years. I was still living in that la la land to think that. And so I've asked, how did you do it? What's the secret? So she starts going in, oh, he's the most loving, kind, sweet, generous. And he's sitting there and he went, I don't talk. That was it. He was like, I don't talk. That was just like, damn. All right.
Can I get some likes up? Please put the likes up on my stream. Gracias, get the likes up. So we're just talking. And here's the thing, like a lot of these YouTubers, they talk from personal experience, right? Women bad, men good, women evil, men good, right? I'm talking from observation. I'm not emotionally attached. I'm not coming from a place where I hate men. I fucking love me some men, okay? Okay. It's like there could be no bad experience enough for me not to love me some men, okay? So I'm not speaking from a place of a lot of these YouTubers where I hate men and men are bad, women good. I'm speaking of, have you not seen your entire life? Men verbally hate the quote unquote whole, but they love them with their pockets. They love them with their emotions. They love them with their actions. And I got this from men, not
Right.
from women. Women have not to, men are hoes. I didn't get this from women. I just observe men, my uncles, my brothers, my cousins, my friends. And before anybody retorts, be around better men, bitch. I done been around millionaires, billionaires, corporate America, Avenue of the Americas, Marsh & McLennan, U.S. Trust, PricewaterhouseCoopers, all the way down to selling Levi jeans. I've seen men all over. I've seen men out of the country, in the country, speak Spanish, English, black, white, Asian, whatever. I've seen men everywhere. And there is a consensus that humans are just humans and men are just men.
Jen,
But I got this from men.
didn't you say, Jen, one time that, and I guess it still goes on, that you said that you would be amazed at the number of married men who DM you wanting to hit
Yes.
on you.
I said that earlier in the stream,
Yes.
and then the next
Yes.
and then Christmas Day, I'm looking at the same men from my DM with the matching pajamas with their wife, and it's a lot of them. It's not just one or two or three or four or five or 10 or 20. Like, it's a lot of them. They stay in the
Yeah, I
damn
mean,
DMs. The married
George,
ones
there's
stay in the
there,
DMs.
there's a joke. All the single men are married. Like women are out looking for men, and I'm like, oh, the men are married. Those are the ones that want to hang out and fuck, and the ones with the rings on. I mean, I've seen men who've DM'd me, and literally 2 days later, they'll have like a huge bouquet with their wives. Like, it's my baby's birthday, the best mother I've ever known, and I'm looking at it like, what the fuck?
You know what, Jen? Is it also too that they do that? That I wonder the state of affairs is that women now, some women, but some, not all, are like, hey, they don't give a shit. They just go with them, But then again, I'm hoping that they have more standards and they say, well, does he have money? Does he have, if they're going to do that,
Right.
what I'm saying?
No, you're absolutely right. And it's some, not all, but most, right? Women who are single and you're a married man, she's like, oh, you're not going to be my problem, but I can get your time, your money, your companionship, and your dick. It's a win-win for a man. And if you're attractive, and she's like, he's committed, that means that he can committed. He's committed to somebody. That means he's a responsible man. And I can get the joy of hanging out with that responsible man without being responsible for him. That's why women that's why they're like, hey, your problem, not mine. There's no respect for marriage like there used to be, right? There was a lot of pressure to respect marriage. Now these girls out here, they like, and here's the thing. The married man doesn't even have to be rich. He just has to be able to break her off a little change every now and then. Doesn't even have to be rich.
And that's a good point that you brought up, because that's what keeps them hopping in our DMs, even if we don't answer them. Because I don't answer these men, right? But they stay in there hoping that they'll wear us down, because it happens, because there are a lot of women that don't want that responsibility. So they're like, I'll take this married man. A lot of them. A lot of them. Yeah.
And not only that I'm sure they're probably thinking, well, he ain't gonna fuck around a lot. He married, he tied down. And a lot of these guys, if you notice, they start bugging out because they're committed to this wife and this situation and its family and these kids. The mistress isn't. And we saw it with the cop.
Yeah, that's a good,
we saw it with the cop. She was like, I don't have to get, and he lost his mind. He was like, you can't leave. I'm committing you to a freaking, nut house. How dare you want to leave? They start bugging out because it feels good to be with the mistress. But I'm like, all the single men are married. They're all married.
There's a lot. Listen, people need to start in general in life, just more than just relationships, realize that the way you think is not the way everybody else thinks. So, because a lot of times, I mean, I would get in trouble with that. Like, I don't understand how people can do this. How could someone like just think about when somebody murders somebody? How could you possibly do that? To me, I have no idea unless, you're offending yourself or something. But how someone goes out and just kills somebody after they rob them, they got the money, they still go and shoot them. I don't understand that, right? But I have to understand that not everybody thinks the same. So when it comes to relationships, what you think a relationship should be is not what everybody thinks a relationship should be. The reason I think people are going into like Lily's DMs and Jen's DMs and they're on OnlyFans is first of all, when you're married, there's a little danger in that, right? And the adrenaline, you like many of us like the adrenaline. We like and it's dangerous, right? If I get caught, I can't get caught. If I get caught, this is really, you know what I mean? I think it's an addiction of that as well.
That's a good
Of course.
one.
Of course.
Yeah,
it's
that's
exciting.
A really good one. I didn't even think about that. I didn't even consider that. But yeah, that's a really good point.
No, Saint, just go buy a motorcycle and you get all the thrills you want.
If the need to pick up, kick up.
As Lily knows, around here, that is dangerous. The way they drive around here.
In New Orleans, it's really okay. They'll run over.
They trying to run people over.
No, Saint, I know you didn't just say the way they drive around here.
I just
No, you
realized.
didn't just say that.
I did. I said, and I'm
Now I
doubling
see where you
down.
got your. Now I see where
And
you
he's
got your
doubling
driving
down.
skills
And he's
from.
doubling down.
It's all making sense. You just stay around long enough. It should have come together. Now I can see where you get your driving
George,
skills
No
from.
Saint is a crazy driver. Nuts. Nuts. Hit that like for me, you little lurkers. You little lurkers. Hit that like for me. So I'm just calling it how I see it, but you can no longer use a defense of, oh, that they will marry her, though. They don't need to be married. Look, Sarah C. Men hate hoes so much that they lose their marriage and families for them. This is what we see day in and day out. We see it over and over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, your point though, Jen, about social class. I never looked at it from that point of view, but it's true. I mean, it's very true. I just thought about it. It's like all the things. It's like, yeah, she's damn right about that. So, score one for Jen. Another one. You put another one you're right about. So, yeah, that's pretty cool.
I have never met a wealthy man that cared about that type of stuff ever. Never.
I hate to bring up TV and old shows, but everybody remembers Dallas.
Yes.
JR was like that, filthy rich. He didn't give a shit.
You just don't. I mean, and think about it. And I loathe when men or women in general, when you speak on something you know nothing about and you've never even been around that environment, you just can't speak. You can speculate. We can speculate all day. I can speculate what it's like to be a woman with no legs. I'm like, damn, that'd be fucked up. If I didn't have no legs, I'd do X, Y, and Z. I can speculate. I can't tell you what it's like. And I hate when people speak for wealthy men, when wealthy men have showed over and over and over again, they have different priorities. Okay. Women to them are part of their entertainment, let's say. So listen, the more loose and exciting she is, the more voluptuous she is, the better it is for him. He has shit to do. He has empires to run. He wants a good time, look good on my arm when we go out. I don't care about none of the other shit that's going on. But a man that has less, and we've seen that and where I've grown up, it's a big deal, right? That she's, no, talk to nobody. I don't want you talking to that guy. And you better not be talking to, you see, Jeff Bezos walked into a party. His girl damn near plastered herself up against Leonardo DiCaprio. We all saw it. It was on a video. We played it here. I'm talking about she was smitten, looked like her nipples got hard. She was like pressed up against him, hugged him. Everybody was mad for Bezos. Oh, she a hoe. She for the streets. She for the streets. You know what Bezos did the next day? He made a fucking joke. He was like, yeah, Leo, I'm watching you. And then he went into his fucking $100 million yacht.
Exactly.
Because there's
but you know what?
One lined up right down the block that he can get. Probably one on the yacht.
Yes.
And it was something else that No Saint said about people don't think the way you think about relationships. You know why? The other reason why is because we've been told what to think about relationships, right? So we've been told, and you kind of alluded to this too, Jen, at the beginning of the show, that we are animals at the beginning and the end of the day, right? And then society comes in, whatever society you live in, whether it's over in Iran, whether it's here in America, whether it's in some back bush in the damn, Australia or whatever, you've been given some rules to try to combat your animalistic nature, right?
Yes.
To attempt to.
Yes.
But that shit it slips out. It slips up every now and then because that's just our true nature.
To explain it, like in layman's terms, it's what I say when I say adults happen to children.
Yes.
It's the same exact premise. When a child is born, they are free. right? They are open to everything. They want to discover everything, right? And then adults happen. Don't go over there. Don't do that. You're going to fall. Don't eat that. Don't put your hand there. And then, as this child grows, there's layers and layers of that adult on them, right? Oh, we pray to this God, okay? We wear this here. We think this. We're conservatives because. We're Democrats because. Okay? We're Buddhists because. We eat this way because. Okay? When someone is bad to us, we hit them back, right? So as this child grows, right, they got layers and layers and layers of the adults that happen to them, layers and layers. Similarly, we were like that too. We were free. There was a time where we were free, and then politics happened, power happened, money happened, and these people started making rules for these people, right? And then these people started following the rules, has started having children, giving the rules to them, and so on and so on and so forth. But again, they didn't account for it. We are still humans at the end of the day. We like fucking.
That's it.
And when I say we, I mean human beings, men and women. Now, women have been suppressed and oppressed, not to whatever, but I always say it. 50 Shades of Grey is $1 billion franchise, and men haven't even looked at a fucking Christian Grey. So women are fantasizing about that man. That man whooped her ass at nighttime and bought her flowers in the day. Mm-hmm. And women like that. That is what women like. But men will not accept that we are all human beings. No, body count. And it's going to get a lot worse for men. Men are going to implode because this woman now, okay, she knew this was going to blow up and literally said with her face, I got a 35 body count. I got a yeast infection. I slept with 3 guys within 24 hours. And more women are going to be way more free to talk like that. So what are men going to do? You guys better pivot.
They're losing their shit. And you know what I was thinking about earlier, and the in addition to where we're going with this, I was thinking about boxes today, right? And I was like, wow, we got a lot of boxes, right? Because humans are very self-absorbed, self-centered, self-righteous. We just think we're the only, and our belief system is the only, because it's like society places you in this box, right? And then we live in this fucking box. And inside that box we live in, we sit there and watch a fucking box. we're fucking humans, right? And I'm just like, boxes on top of boxes on top of boxes, right? And we think that everyone lives in our fucking box, right? It's just such a weird situation about us humans. And now we got this box, right? That just feeds
that got more boxes.
More boxes. And you see what No Saint said earlier, well, my box didn't say that. And George's box might say something else. And my box, it might say a lot. But we're going to talk about that on another stream. We got Freaky Friday coming tomorrow.
Yeah, that's definitely to be noted that Lily mentioned box and bush in the same stream. I just want to let that be known.
Yes, box and bush. Let that be known. This is serious business.
Yeah, we got to stop. We got to stop the bullshit. Like and I know that men are getting nervous, right? Because a lot of them, the only control they had really was the control of women. Yeah. A lot of them. They were able to insult a woman into suppression. They were able to insult. Remember the Scarlet Letter? They were able to call her hoe and slut and bitch. And she was, I don't want to be anybody's hoe or slut. Now these chicks are buying T-shirts with slut on them. They're doing slut walks. I'm that bitch. I'm a bad bitch. So women are changing, right? So men are like, well, what do we control now?
Well, Jen, on that,
your penis,
because I know you're kind of conservative in some ways, and
I know I hear that a lot. George.
But you and I've talked, and for you, Jen, what do you think for women doing that? If this is kind of like the sexual revolution 2.0, 3.0, whatever, however you want to call it. Do you think that's a healthy long-term trend just for women and healthy for them? You think that's healthy for them to come out and express like that?
Yes, And yes, but I think that they should do it's very important that they do it responsibly. Protect yourself from unwanted children and unwanted diseases. But it's very, very important that you live your life to the fullest. And if you want to fuck around, fuck around. Sex is natural. We love sex. Coming feels good. Coming feels good. Being attached to another human being feels good. And you don't always have to be married to get that experience. So I say to men and women and whoever, sexual revolution, say it with your vagina. But be careful. Please, please, please protect yourself from unwanted children and unwanted diseases. But I think it's very good that people live their life the way they see fit. And it's also okay for a woman to be like, I don't want to fuck anything. I don't want a penis in me. I feel better spiritually, you know what I mean, intellectually, physically. I feel better when I'm not having sex with anybody, right? I'm celibate 2 years
Can we
now.
talk about that? Can we
2
talk
years
about
now,
that? Can we talk
right?
about that? Can we
Yeah, like
please
2
talk about
years
that?
now. Yes.
Because they're equally as pissed off when we choose to be celibate. Like, it's
Listen,
the weirdest
Lily,
thing.
Lily, when I announced my 2 year celibacy, my DMs blew up.
Mm-hmm.
Because you said you would smack the dude that you got with, you would Hulk smash him. They wanted to be the number one in
Right.
line.
Yes, I said, but when that time comes and I get ready to give up the box again, okay, Hulk smash. It's gonna be a Hulk smash. But here's what's interesting, right? Men claim, right, because they're constantly claiming, I want this woman that doesn't have a high body count, doesn't sleep around or whatever, blah, blah. And when they hear that a woman is celibate, the first thing they want to do is defile her. The first thing they want to do is put a dick in her. But I thought you like the idea of women don't want to fuck around. And the first thing you want to do is stick your dick in her. Make up your mind, sir. Sir, make up your mind.
They don't know what they want. Because, like, when you say you're celibate, I mean, it's so. I've seen it because I've been celibate twice, right? And
That's my third time.
okay, and you're just like, I don't want none. I like sincerely don't want it. I'm not interested right now. Well, you're gonna be lonely. I'm actually not lonely. I'm like,
Right.
I'm good.
I'm
And
not
then I
lonely.
thought about that. I thought about this too earlier. What I'm about to say, because I I went through that so much when I was celibate, and I was like, that is totally projection. And how I know, because I always knew they were projecting their fear of loneliness onto me, because I don't have that fear. I'm like, oh, that's your fear of loneliness, because you never hear a woman do that to a man because they don't have that fear, especially a woman over 40 and 50. Women over 40 and 50 usually want to be left the fuck alone.
Yeah.
Typically, if
Yep.
they're married, they're just like, okay, you go on that side of the house, I go on this side of the house, we meet in the middle when we get ready. And if they're like, yeah, I've been married for a minute, don't want to do this any longer. Thank
Mm,
you.
mm,
Or they're like, I'm single, I want to stay there, come over. I may let you spend a night, but chances are not. Don't look forward to it. And that's what I typically see with women, especially over 50.
mhm.
Women over 50 don't really want to be bothered. So
Yeah.
that's when I realized, like, oh, that projection of, oh, you're gonna die alone. That's y'all shit. That ain't us.
Yeah. Yeah. This comment here, you're welcome, Daryl. Glad to see you in the chat, darling. James is he's holding on. He is holding on for dear life. He will die on this hill.
Oh,
He said they want to trash traditional values like marriage, but keep traditional values that serve them like protection. Here's the thing. What you're talking about wasn't a value. What you're talking about, protection, provide, that wasn't a value. Okay? That was nature. That was nature. The silverback whoops everybody's ass. He gets his little silverback bitch and he's fucking her and now he protects her, right? Because he won her. That's nature. Monkeys do it, animals do it, lions do it, tigers do it. That's nature. That has nothing. The silverback didn't wake up. Well, I want a traditional monkey, and these are traditional family values, and I'm gonna marry this monkey. No, he has to mate, so he whoops everybody else's ass, and he keeps her to himself.
And traditions change. Also, they never stay the same. So, marriage, believe it or not, if you look at it, was kind of made to protect the guys without a lot of resources. so they wouldn't be revolting against all the rich people. Because when the guys had a lot of resources, they could have more than one wife. That's kind of how polygamy went out of favor to to have just two people together.
Well,
So
look at.
So like these guys that are arguing over this, it's the same old argument. They don't have a lot of resources. The one thing they do have is one man, one woman. They can get their woman. And now that that's being taken away from them, the only thing they have is to try to shame a woman into marrying, into staying traditional. But traditions are never meant, they change over time.
Which goes
It's all
back
made up.
to
Tradition's made up. Yeah.
it's all made up. Which goes back to what we always say here. The whole idea of getting married for love is a new construct that is very recent. It has always been about resources. It has always been about increasing resources.
But when you think about it, that makes a lot more sense than marrying for love at the end of the day, right? It just does, right? Because if you're going to raise children, you have to be able to raise children in a healthy environment. You need to provide, you need to protect, right? But no saying, oh my God, that makes so much fucking sense. It's like these guys that are talking about, oh, you trashing traditional values. If a woman keeps traditional values, then they get to get a wife.
Yeah.
They get to have a wife. Because women will be thinking, I need to get married, right? So then they get a wife. Soon as women stop thinking traditional, now they're fucked because they don't have those resources, right? To lure her in. It's like, fuck, if she doesn't follow tradition, how am I going to get a woman?
Right, exactly. And now you're going outside of tradition, and the first thing people want to do is start trashing you because you're not towing the line of, or, towing the line that it really makes it more advantageous towards the guys who, because, and another thing is people want, oh, why don't you get married for love? Love means different things to different people. You need to be able to define what love means. And what you're going to find out is what you think love means is not necessarily what the other person thinks love means. And that's why, as you say, that's why a lot of marriages don't last and people are getting out and divorcing, because it's not what they thought it was in their mind, what we brought up to think is supposed to be marriage. It's hard. That's all it is. It's really a difficult thing to put two people together and expect them not to grow together, expect them to grow together, have the same views, have the same wants, have the same needs. It's almost impossible.
It is. I mean,
yeah.
And people don't talk. People don't talk about that enough. People don't talk about that enough. No, Saint. They don't talk about that aspect of marriage. But you really are taking, oil and water, two people that were raised differently, who have different desires and emotions or ways they react to stuff, and you're sticking them together underneath one roof. And then they got society in their ear too. So, it's like, and then they're reared differently. Men are reared differently than little girls, right? Little boys are raised differently. Now you're putting them together and they're supposed to mesh like a puzzle.
Well, see, just like I said, the performance art, when it comes to men pretending that they care about body count, we see this with marriage. People feel obligated to pretend like they are happy in their marriage publicly.
Very true. Very true.
We all know people personally, right, that we know what's going on in their home, but you look on social media and you see a whole different facade. We all know them. Some of y'all are them, right? So
some of y'all are them.
I'm just saying. And me and my bestie talk about this all the time. We're like, y'all don't make that shit look appealing. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. Y'all don't make that shit look appealing at all. To someone like me who's I observe, I look at patterns, and I was like, there's a lot more people performing that are actually happy.
Listen, they got me a couple times, Lily. They got me a couple times because I've seen couples online and I'm like, oh my God, they so cute. Look, they're having fun. And then Tyrese is online. That bitch wants $20,000 a month. I was like, wait a minute. Y'all were just on the beach frolicking. You were just on the beach frolicking. I saw you frolicking. That was a frolic.
I know a frolic when I see one.
I saw a frolic. Yeah, he was like, this is my queen and blah, blah. And a couple months later, like that, this bitch won $20 and I met her in a $12 dress. Whoa, hey, what is going on? I saw this other chick married to that, matter of fact, was it Antonia Brown's ex? And she was posting pictures of a Porsche with the big red bow on it. He was like, that bitch better give me that fucking car back. That ain't her fucking car. I was like, whoa, hey, wait a minute.
That's funny because we had one of the people I work with just went on this cruise and told us how miserable the whole cruise was. But I guarantee you, any picture you see is going to be looking like they had a good time.
Them pictures look good, baby. Them well curated. The angles are good.
And that's
the lighting.
And that's what you're seeing on Facebook or whoever's posting on Instagram. All these pictures there,
It's a highlight reel. It's a highlight reel.
And everybody's having a great time, but they don't show you the other side of,
Oh, and this is why I don't do couples goals.
Y'all are talking about, y'all know who Deion Sanders is. No Saint I've been talking about doing a show about Deion Sanders, but anyhow, there's a documentary out there about him. He's been married a couple of times, and what was funny was this woman who was then married to him is talking about what a man of God he is. Mm-hmm. And I just know that he's just doing this and this and this. And I the whole thing about what y'all are talking about, the irony is like, well, then why did you divorce this dude then? Why did that come apart? It's like, I'm not trying to start a discussion about religion, its role, right. But it's the whole thing about, we're just bullshitting ourselves, aren't we?
Yes. And that's it. Like, you have to realize, you don't have to realize shit. I'm going to tell you what the fuck I realized. Okay. One day I really looked and I was like, this is all a fucking lie. Like, the reality of life is, if you really want to be happy, you have to really go in to see what works for you. Ooh. Not what society tells you what symbols we're supposed to have, right? You're supposed to have this car and this spouse and work at this place and make this amount of money and wear these clothes and like this thing and listen to this music, right? And once you come up out of all of that and start asking yourself, like, why am I listening to this? And why am I over here? And why am I when you start really digging in, you'll start seeing you don't like the shit that you're trying to make yourself like. Right. And that's what it is. It boils down to people want these symbols of success.
And that's not easy, Lily. Like, it's not easy. That is hard. And that's why that's why I say people are cattle. They just go with the herd because it is hard to pause and step away from the herd and say, what do I like? What do I believe in? What do I hate? What do I love? Why do I not? You know what I mean? And I had to do that. That because I'm very, very attached to my dad. I love his thinking, very strong person, very, very I love who he is. But I had to pause and I'm like, I don't like this situation there. But then I was like, is that me or my dad? Right. Why don't I like it? Jen, why don't you like them people that do that thing? Is it because you don't like it? Because your dad told you that's a bad thing, right? Because my dad is super critical and super judgmental and super conservative. My dad thinks that, cemeteries are a fucking waste of land. Okay, he doesn't believe in going to the hospital. If somebody's going to die, they're going to die. If your baby is sick, if your baby is sick in vitro, get an abortion. Like he's cold. Like he's like, this is what it is: business, money, life, survival. So I was like, and I looked up to my dad, but then like, God, am I too much of my dad? Which is me. Again, adults happen to children, right?
That's the point I was about to make next. How I started to reshape my life and create my own. I started to do that. I started to study animals and children, the most free. Species on the face of this planet, right? And even elders will teach you a lot just by watching them and listening to them and talking to them, because they'll tell you a lot of this shit. Like, I've been wasting a lot of fucking time. Like, I talk to my grandmother a lot.
Listen, notice elders, children and elders will give you the whole fucking truth.
The
whole fucking truth. Elders will be like, oh, no, you ain't going to be worried about that in 50 years. Oh, you think you got a problem? Oh, you ain't going to be worried about that shit. Watch and see. And I'm like, what, Grandma?
My grandmother's 86, and the talks that we have, and she gives it to me flat. She gives it to me flat. And she's just like that. Yeah, she's like, that's bullshit. She's like, I wasted my time doing this. I wasted my time doing that. It took me this many years to understand this. I wish I would have done that earlier. And That's why I'm like, I'm not gonna be that. I'm not gonna be in my 80s thinking about what I should. No, fuck that. I'm living life now. What makes me happy, as long as I'm not hurting myself or no one else, that's how we're doing. So when I'm thinking about situations like this, couples and sex and marriage and things like that, my rule is, as long as it's two consenting adults, or it could be more than two, whatever y'all like, as long as it's consenting adults, it's none of our business. It doesn't matter. It doesn't affect our lives. It really doesn't. People just get mad for other people now. This shit is weird.
See, but I had to learn that. Like there was so many things that I didn't like, and I fell into, like, looking at the stereotype of it, and I called it a certain thing, and I was like, no, that shit I heard my dad say. Like
Right.
my dad would say X, Y, and Z, and I was like, makes sense to me. He's a head of household. I'm just gonna, you know what I mean. My dad was rude. He was like, you got no friends. A friend is a
Oh,
dollar
that's my
in your
dad.
pocket. So I was like,
That's my dad. My dad says that all the. He's been saying it my
like,
whole life.
and,
You
and
got no
I'm here, and
friends.
I'm here just dressing my Barbie. Like, okay, Dad, I was just all right, okay, all right. Um, so it takes some work. I would recommend everyone get a notebook and a pen and write down your beliefs, your desires, from what food you like, from music you listen to, from your political beliefs to your religious beliefs. Write all them shits down and then ask yourself on the right side, why do I like this? What
Mhm.
about this? What about this do I like? What about this makes me happy? Or am I just repeating what I was told, right? Are you really a Republican? Well, then why? Where did it come from? You have to go to the root of it. Where did it come from?
Yes.
I believe in marriage. Why do you believe in marriage? But all right, where did it come from? Where's your first? It's work. You got to think,
It's a
where's
lot
my
of work.
first idea of marriage? I don't care what it is. If I like this type of woman, what kind of woman you like? I like tall, skinny. Where did that come from? Where was the first time you realized you like tall, skinny women, or you like black women, or you like white men? It came from somewhere, but it takes work. But let me tell you something, if you don't do the work, you're going to be just like our grandparents. Girl, if I would have known then what I know now. It takes
Yeah.
work.
Unfortunately, like you said, as children, like I'm thinking of just growing up, all the stuff that was programmed into me that it took me to unravel over time, just the normal stuff, right? But all the stuff that you don't even know, like you're saying, that you think a certain way, it almost takes your whole life to figure that out. That's the real
It does.
tragedy of it all. We program
Yes.
we program kids to do certain things. This is the way. And of course they're going to listen because they're in a new world and they're scared.
Yeah.
They don't know which way to go. Let's follow this path. And it might not be the right path for them. You know what I mean? So yeah, you're right. I mean, I'm still working on, uh,
It takes your whole life.
yeah. I mean, like you're sitting there, for me, it's just like, I'll sit there sometimes, especially when I'm just sitting by myself and, I'll think like, man, what can I do? Because there's sometimes I'll just be sitting there just like, okay, this is not exactly working out for me,
Yeah, and that's honest.
yeah, yeah.
That's honest. And a lot of people, we all go through that. It's just people don't
Oh
say it
yeah.
out loud. But that's honest. That's all of us sitting there like, who am I here?
You're right.
Yeah.
I can't tell
And
you.
like you said, and what do I really, why am I doing certain things that I do? What would I do differently? How can I change it? And in life, it's not, I mean, listen, life is happening and it's not a really easy thing to change what you're doing, especially when you've been
In the
set on a
middle.
track.
Yeah,
Right.
in the
Yeah.
middle. Like in the middle, it's
And
like, hey, but you know what? People do it all the time.
Yeah.
People like,
right,
attorneys are like, I'm going to go be a fucking painter. Fuck this
right.
law. I don't want to be a fucking lawyer. My parents wanted me to be a fucking lawyer. I don't want to be a fucking lawyer. Right. One of my lawyers said that and I was like, hey, whoa, hey.
Okay, yeah, we need you.
I need you to be my
Figure that out in
attorney.
your next life,
Whoa,
okay?
hey.
Live your
I was
truth
like,
in your
wait a
next
minute.
life.
Right, wait a minute. You know, oh man, it's a lot of work, but I recommend it because it's sad. It is tragic. We only got one life. It is short, right? We have 75 summers. When you look at that math, it's like, oh my God, I got 75 summers. I'm down to 40 summers.
It's kind of funny you say that. I count football seasons left.
Okay, whatever works for you. I count fashion
I've
seasons.
actually thought that. I was like, How many seasons I got left? Maybe 20?
No, I count
So no
fashion
thing when
seasons.
somebody asks you how long you've been married, you say I've been married like 12 seasons.
Yeah.
You say when did the Saints win the Super Bowl?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes. Yes.
I disagree. See, Mr. Research says she is fatherless,
He must have
correct,
came in late.
seeking attention. She is fatherless, correct, seeking attention. No, she's monetizing men that like hoes.
Right. She's
That
playing on your feelings because she knows it's going to trigger these men. How do we know? This has been all over the algorithm all day, right? If she was a good girl talking about how good she was, I wouldn't care.
you
But she
wouldn't
knows
care.
it's going to trigger you. See, that's the art of today. People are monetizing off of your emotions, right? And well, see, the mainstream Ben knew how to do. They spent billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars on learning how to trigger your emotions and to get you to do something. But now the average person has figured that shit out,
Yep.
and now they're making money.
Yep.
So
And for the record, and for the record, Brittany Renner just finished shooting a season of Basketball Wives. This was the best, hands down, marketing plan for free that I've ever seen. All she had to do to get countless YouTubers, TMZ Sports, ESPN, all she had to do to get all those men to market her and advertise her upcoming appearance on Basketball Wives is say, I slept with 35 men and you all lost your minds. That's all she had to say. She didn't have to pay millions of dollars for marketing. She didn't have to pay a PR person. All she had to do was go to Shay's room and say, I slept with 35 men. And the internet went wild. So what happens when her show drops? Everybody's going to want to watch that bitch, the woman that slept with 35 men.
And I know her DMs was blowing up after that shit went live. I know her DMs was like on fire because that's how that shit goes. They love hoes, and it's not just fatherless or whatever. No, it's penises. Okay, heterosexual penises. That's it. It's not that simple. I mean, it's not that difficult, y'all. It's just really
And it's funny because her buzz, if you notice, every time her buzz dies down, she's like the big burly bitch. Every time her buzz dies down, right? She just says something like this, and the internet goes wild every time. Every time, oh, women over 35, and everybody goes wild.
right.
It's the best marketing plan I've ever seen in a while. And she may be lying. She may have slept with 3 guys or 500. We will never
Right.
know.
You
We'll never
never
know.
know. You will never know. It's
We will
and
never
that's
know.
the other part. You will never know.
And
So
I guarantee,
why
yeah,
is this
I guarantee she just threw a number out there. I guarantee.
right?
She probably slept with 50 men. She was, I'm just 35. I slept with, with her little drink in her hand because she knew what it would do. Because men now have become the best free intern marketing team in the United States of America. All you have to do is trigger men. That's all you got to do. And be a
That's easy
woman.
these days. And that's
And
easy
be a
these
woman.
days. Mm-hmm.
If you want, ladies, if y'all listening and you want to market some shit, just trigger men. Just trigger men. They'll market you for weeks and weeks and weeks for free. You don't have to pay a PR person. You'll up your social media visibility. Just trigger men.
That's how you
Just
got
trigger men.
this channel up. I mean, you
Yeah,
triggered a man and then he
yeah,
did a lot of free PR for you and
yeah.
got your numbers up.
That happened here too. That happened here too.
Mm-hmm.
You got to work on the faux outrage. Work on the faux outrage.
Because it's faux outrage, yeah. Because they pretend to be outraged about things that they are not outraged about,
Oh
and
no,
that
they're
they
not
actually
outraged.
like in private. That's the funniest thing about it. It is so ironic, but
Yeah.
we love you, we thank you, and we
That's the
appreciate you.
one thing for me that I cannot stand, and I think Jen's the same way, is when you say one thing, but then you do something else, and it's like this, cognitive dissonance. It's the inconsistency that drives me fucking crazy. And it made me think about it. That's what when you came on here, you're like, this is what it is. You're telling me one thing, but I fucking know this happens.
Right.
Don't bullshit.
Yes. Yeah, it drives me up a wall. It's like, do you not? That's why I make the joke about the monster on the plane in the Twilight Zone. Do you not see the monster? I see it.
I'm gonna tell you
There.
all,
I get where you're
it
coming
used
from,
to
Tim.
it used to drive me up the wall, and I can still get triggered by that too from time to time. But like I said, because I've been seeing it my entire life, I started to just look at even that as human nature, because that
Hmm.
goes back to what we were saying. Because I realized that all of us, including me, have been programmed to pretend like we don't like a thing that we actually like, or to like a thing that we don't like. I get it. I fucking get it. Even with my own life, I get it. And that's why I always say humans are hypocrites. The problem I have is when people don't own their hypocritical nature. I own my shit. I can tell you, I can say to you that, like, for instance, I might say, "Oh, I can't stand her. She's just loud and obnoxious," right? But then my friend who's loud and obnoxious, I'm like, "Oh, I fucking love her. She just says whatever she want to say."
Same,
Right.
same,
I'm
same,
a fucking hypocritical human, okay?
same,
But
same.
I can own that shit. We're fucking hypocrites. It's just
We
that
are
simple.
Yeah, you're right,
convenient.
Lily. You're right.
Conveniently. Y'all don't believe in love. I believe in love as a very temporary feeling that happens, no different than, this is gonna sound crazy, no different than when I go to a comedy show and I'm feeling very happy and I'm laughing because I'm at a comedy show. I'm in an environment where everything is funny and I'm laughing. If with a significant other, the feelings that we are sharing, it's love, right? He's loving on me, I'm loving on him. But I know when we break up, I'm not gonna give a fuck if he gets run over by a truck, right? So I think we have to put love into perspective. What people think love is this forever thing. It's a diamond. It never fades. It never, no. Love is something that you feel temporarily, right? With this significant other. We love our friends more thoroughly, okay? Than we love significant others. Because how many of us have been through relationships and our friends are always the constant? Always. And if our friend calls us at 3 o'clock in the morning, we out the fucking door. Let an ex call you at 3 o'clock in the morning. The person that you loved. The person that you said, I'm in love with you. And we never tell our friends, I'm in love with you. I love you unconditionally. We never tell our friends that. Never. But we tell our significant other, forever, me and you, here's a ring. Let's take these vows, rich, poor, sickness, health. Let's do this. Let's rock. Let that same person call you at 3 o'clock in the morning. Now let Lily call me at 3 o'clock in the morning. Be like, let's go. What happened?
Right. She putting on them Timbs. She putting
And
them
tying them
Timbs
up,
on.
Lily. And tying them up.
She
And
put them
tying,
Timbs on.
Yeah. Yep. I
and
mean,
tying them.
this isn't even up for debate. I mean, there is a difference the way your mind is when you first meet a woman and you're kissing her and you're in that first, what they call the honeymoon stage.
Ooh,
There
love.
is a chemical, there's dopamine, there's serotonin, not serotonin, that puts you to sleep, I think, but there's dopamine,
No,
there's
that's
dopamine.
melatonin. It's serotonin.
Melatonin.
Okay, it is
One of the
serotonin. You're
tonin.
right.
It's
Yeah,
one of
one
the
of the tonins.
tonins.
So serotonin, dopamine that's flooding your brain, and it feels great, and that's what gets you initially where I want to be with this girl forever. And then what happens to everybody? You don't get that feeling again. Doesn't matter if you and your wife don't have sex for 8 years. You have sex with her, you're not going to get that same feeling
No.
as you do when you first meet somebody. And then that is why we get addicted. That is why a lot of people do go to different, they love that feeling. They love the feeling of the love feeling, but it's all it is, a feeling. It's
Mhm.
not any, and that's why I was saying earlier that people need to understand and have a definition of what they think love is. And
Yeah.
if you're going to be with somebody, you got to understand what their definition of love is, because this feeling you have when you meet somebody and you have sex with them is temporary. And so once that wears off, that's when the work begins.
But
I,
you
I
see,
don't even
we've
I
done
don't even
trainings on
believe.
love.
Yeah, I don't even believe, like Mr. Justin said, love isn't a feeling, it's a verb. I don't believe that either. Because again, I know he means it's an action, right? It's an
Mhm.
action. It's like if I do that, but no, even that is fleeting. Because again, you won't, if the ex calls you, it's no longer a verb. It's nothing. So it's
Yeah.
not a verb. It's no longer a verb, right? Because if I'm no longer your woman, you're calling me, I'm like, I don't give a fuck. Call whoever you fucking know. I don't care. Now, going back to what No Saint said, I bet the first 3 months that I had with that guy, oh my God, euphoria. Oh my God. I think it's the best thing ever. I'm calling my friends about him. Okay. I'm my mama. My mama, I made him. I met him. He's the one, mama. He's the one trying to tell you, right? Let him call me 3:00 in the morning. Motherfucker, if you call my phone again past midnight, I promise you, right? So I don't even think it's a verb. It's a fleeting thing, and it's a beautiful thing. It's a wonderful thing. But I'm telling you, if you want to date me, you got 3 months with me, buddy.
You know what? I want to conflate
The
two
first 3
comments.
months are wonderful.
I want to conflate two comments here, and this is what I'm about to share is just based on my opinion and
Okay.
stuff like that. So, it's two comments from the same person. How do I pronounce this? PZIO.
I never know. To this day, I do
Okay.
not know. To this day,
Can you do us a favor and put like how to pronounce this? But
that would
they're
help.
saying, yes, they're saying because we were talking about nature, right? And they
Yes.
were saying, but we can be better than nature. And that was the first comment. It says we're called higher beings for a reason, though many are still beasts. This is just my belief. Don't take this as gospel, but yes, I do believe humans have the capability of being higher beings, but and I believe in order to achieve that, you have to own the beast that's also in you too. You have to also own the animal that's in you too. A lot of people try to negate that and hide it and stuff it and shit, but it keeps popping out and they don't know. And I just feel like we all the things. The light, the dark, the good, the bad, the ugly, the pretty.
But
We're all the things.
I'm curious about higher being. It says here a non-human life form believed to have power over human life, such as the Christian God. Talk to me
Yeah,
like I'm
now
2
that
years
part.
old and I got off the short yellow bus. It says divinity, noun, absolute being, divine nature, celestial deity. Do they mean like being holier than thou, being enlightened as a human being? Is that what it means? Like being, you know what I mean?
Let's see. I'm gonna
A
have to punch
a
that
higher
one.
being.
I'm not really following them.
Yeah, me neither.
Well, I'm thinking because like I was saying, we feel as humans, and this is how I'm taking it, right?
Okay.
When we were talking about earlier, how Mr. Justin said that beast poking out like a hernia. That's what been going on. Like we walking around with fucking hernias all over the place because we're trying to stuff the beast that's in us. But
It's
it's
like
us. It's
I wanna, but I can't because people will say.
Yeah,
right.
Lily, you're right about we got to acknowledge. I was thinking about this. There's been plenty of people I would have loved to have, choked them to death right there, but it's like, that's my nature coming out, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, no, I have to be practical. I was like, do I want to go to jail? Do I
Right.
want to, all this? So you're right. And like another thing too, we've talked about here before, it's when we touched on where many different things, darkness, that's another area that we've got to probe and look
Very
at
much. Yes, everyone wants
and
to avoid the
acknowledge that
darkness
you
in
are
them.
capable of some very bad shit. You are, every one of us, varying levels.
Right.
There was an experiment done out in Berkeley, I think in the 1960s. Y'all may have heard about it, where they got people sitting down on one side of the wall and the other people are turning the knobs for electrocuting them.
7. Oh, that one. Okay.
Yeah. Well, what people did is that no matter how it would get to the whole get to the point here, is that as they turned up the voltage, it was all fake, right? The person on the other side's like screaming, "Oh, turn it off, turn it off." They were told, turn it up. They just turned it up. Just did it.
Well, okay. Let me clean it up a little bit.
Yeah, because I was like, what the fuck?
No, they didn't, a lot of them resisted and didn't want to do it. But the fact that the authority over them, the person over them told them, no, you have to do it. You have to do the experiment. They went ahead and overrode their horror that they were hurting somebody, and it was just, it was an experiment of how, and it kind of came from, how people like the not, in Germany, like how you will listen, even though that it's not it's not necessarily right. You fall in line.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. So you guys, you must. I told you about that Netflix, the Netflix
I saw that.
Did you watch it?
Yeah, you talking about the yes, I
With
saw
the
it,
Nazis.
and I looked at that guy because did you notice at the end the guy was like, I'm 100 years old now.
Yeah.
The prosecutor from the guy, and he was 100 years. I said, man, he lived to 103. He died like I think in April or May of this year. Because I was like,
Holy
that
fuck.
dude's still living. I went and checked him out. Yeah, that was really interesting though. Yeah.
Yeah, but because that's what it sounds like that you're talking about. It's like these people were regular working men. They were like, these weren't like stone cold killers. These were regular working men, very educated, not a bunch of savages. And they were like, hey, we need you to do this thing for this country. What say you? And some of them were like, no, I'm not going to do it. And some of them loved doing it, but they were like, we got to do this thing, right? They weren't like you would think about. It was interesting because you would think, oh, all the Nazis were a bunch of savages and they were born
Right.
animals and they were beasts and blah, blah. And when the documentary shows, no, these were just regular dudes that were told to do a thing. And then some of them started enjoying it.
Mhm.
Like slavery, same thing. I mean, you got to look at society consciousness. Society consciousness changes, right? We've lived long enough to see society consciousness change. We are living through a society consciousness change right now, and motherfuckers can't keep up, and that's why they're getting online, losing their shit over body count. Like consciousness changes, right? And that goes back to why I say it's important to know where you stand,
Right.
regardless of the changes in society and everything like that. You got to know where you stand. That's hard.
That's a great point. I know No Saint said earlier traditions change. And what you said, Lily, right now, consciousness changes as well. Because if you notice, right, like way back, it was like black people were like, oh no, racism. Oh no, you're trying to, show us in the worst light. Oh no, media is against us. Oh no. And then what did we see happen when black people had control of a network and control of programming? They put out the same exact content they were saying white people were putting out to make them look like savages. I mean, they even turned it all the way up. Like you
Yeah,
said, No Saint.
it's way worse.
It's way worse at the hands of black people. They turned it all, even though it was hurting the people on the other side. They're like, no, I'm going to turn it up worse because Zeus Network is a cesspool and it is a black man showcasing black people. Mona Scott Young, same thing. A black woman showcasing black women, black people. But remember, decades prior, it was white folks putting us on TV, making us look like Sambos and crazy people. Okay, there's a guy called Dancing Gorilla, named himself Dancing Gorilla.
That's racist.
There was a petition to get this man off TikTok. He's a real big, like, you know who I'm talking about, the guy that dances in restaurants. There was a petition to get him off of TikTok. That's how bad and ridiculous man was. There's a woman who eats watermelon as her content. Black woman. You've seen her, No Saint?
I think you showed it.
I showed her. She is fucking gross. So we see, right? Like everything changes. At first it was like, no, bad. This is a bad thing. And now that you're in control, you're doing it 10 times worse. And not to the people you claim are the enemy, to your own people. To your own people.
And this is why I don't listen to humans. This is why I take no humans seriously. I really don't. I just don't. And I said this in my last video yesterday, Ladies Lessons. I was like, I don't give a fuck what you believe because you're actually going to show me what you really believe. I don't give a fuck. Don't tell me what you believe. Just do your thing and I'll see it.
Right. Interesting.
Yeah, a guy named Richard Flint said behavior never lies.
That's so simple though.
Mm-hmm.
That's so simple, though. Behavior never lies. People will talk and say what they believe and who they are and what they're doing, blah, blah, blah. And then here comes that old trusty behavior. Mm-hmm. And it's like, here comes that old trusty behavior. Mr. Research, I don't know what you mean. You said, are not both those people from Africa? Just asking. I don't know who.
I don't know either. Oh, and Abby, yes, it is ironic. I do everything on purpose. It is ironic that I live stream and I went back into the closet to live stream. I did that on purpose. And I'll explain that on my show because, Yeah, I do. Everything I do has a meaning. When it comes to my
I
job.
never put that together. I guess that's
Hmm.
until now. I was like, yeah, he's
I
wearing a
honestly
cloth.
never thought of that either. I thought it was
Hmm.
more your fashion thing.
Yeah,
I
and yeah,
thought
I
it was
know a
your
lot of people.
fashion
Well,
thing.
it's a double entendre. So
Okay,
yeah, yeah, I do a lot of those. I don't know, weird like that.
okay. I never thought about that.
It's kind of like our shoe thing.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
our
like,
a little inside black inside joke. It's like our shoe thing.
Oh no, saying I just ordered another pair of those $700
No.
shoes tonight. I
go
sure did.
ahead, George, go
They're a
ahead,
special
George.
color. They're a special color called ultraviolet. They look beautiful.
Ooh, that sounds
Beautiful.
good.
And double leather soles, all that is when they come in, it's going to take them about 2 months
You
to
gotta
make
show
them.
us. You gotta
I'll
show
show them
us,
to you.
George.
Yeah.
Yes.
I want to see some $700 shoe. Listen, I looked at a shoe yesterday. I went shopping. I looked at a shoe yesterday. It was $780. I was like, no, ma'am.
Hmm.
No, ma'am. But it didn't look like it would last past two parties. It didn't. It was a little plastic thing. I was like, no. Oh, Mr. Research, the dancing gorilla and watermelon woman, are they not from Nigeria? I have no idea.
Y'all remember the Samsonite commercials that had the gorilla in it?
Yep.
Remember
Mhm.
they said that was racist and they stopped it.
Oh, well,
And you remember,
2023.
and then y'all are talking about this. As it made me think about that.
No,
Hmm.
2023.
I remember he used to jump up on top of the
Yeah, I
mud bench
remember.
and I'll throw it around the cave.
I'm just curious how they linked that. How would I don't know. That's weird. I'd like to know how they figured that was racist, though. I mean, what did they try to link it up with? Because that's just kind
I
of
Well,
think
you
one time he was in a bellhop suit and in like they just drew the connection. I remember it coming out.
the little monkeys that are on the little machines. Don't they have little bellhops that little ding 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 and they dance?
yep.
Yeah,
And they're in a bellhop suit as well.
Yeah.
So I don't
Well, they're
yeah.
about to get canceled after the stream because you done
Yeah.
exposed them.
know.
Now
Yeah.
people have to pretend like they're mad. You know how that goes. We always got to pretend like we're mad about something.
Yeah. But yeah, that's really interesting, Jen. It's kind of like the people. What is it? The whole saying: the people who were victimized become the worse. They're worse than the people who victimized them.
Why do you
Oh,
think cops
way
are the way
worse.
they are? A lot of cops
Worse.
were the people who got bullied when they were growing up, right? So they get this position of power, they get this badge, this uniform, and this blue protection, and they become the bullies,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, look, I'll even say that with the LGBT community. Growing up bullied, soon as we got the rain and the mic, it was like, oh, we about to show y'all motherfuckers now. Not me personally, but you know what I'm saying? Like I recognized when it was going on. I mean, that's just human nature.
Have y'all seen some of the videos from Ty Rivera lately?
I have, of
They are
course.
We
Yes.
love Ty. We love Ty around here.
Man,
Ty
he
is
tells it like
blowing.
it is. I mean, he just
Ty
lays
is
it out
blowing
there.
up with that. Ty is blowing up with that. But he's a staunch conservative Trump supporter.
Yeah.
Okay, he's a Trumpster. So Ty's gonna tell it. Listen, I never thought I would be fond of someone that was so neck deep in Trump, but that's Ty. I just like people
I like
who
people who
say it
stand
like
on
it
their shit.
is. Yeah.
Exactly. I don't need to agree with you, but stand on your shit. And don't be a fucked up person. Don't be an asshole. Like, I don't have hard requirements, right?
Right.
But most people can't do that. And I understand. I get it. Like I said, we all are indoctrinated. My mentor used to always say, by 5, we're fucked up.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
By 5, you're ruined. So,
mm-hmm.
and what's weird is I have a very good long-term memory, right? Don't ask me what happened 5 minutes ago, but I can tell you to the T certain scenes from my early childhood. And I specifically remember how free I was before the indoctrination, right? I specifically remember looking around and saying like, okay, the adults are saying this, but I'm seeing this, it's not matching up. And then so I'll ask questions to try to get
Mm-hmm,
clarity, and I'm fucking with their cognitive dissonance. So then I would make them uncomfortable, and in turn they would make me uncomfortable. And then over time I just remember assimilating. But while I was assimilating, I was still secretly thinking, I don't believe this shit.
mm-hmm,
Okay, but I know I got to go along with it to keep the adults off my ass and some of the children off of my ass, right? So it takes honestly, to be real with you, for a lot of us that end up, I guess, getting that childhood freedom back again, for the most of
Mhm.
us, it takes tragedy.
Mhm.
It takes tragedy for us to be like, you know what the fuck am I doing? Like,
Let me, you make a lot of sense, and I want to say this. This just clicked through my head. It's so strange when I think about it too. Like the clearest. I mean, when I read things that I wrote at this time period, you could see like how clear my mind was. The clearest my mind ever was when I was in Afghanistan, and we had no way of communicating. We had nothing. It was just a tent. We were building a base. We had weapons. But it was absolutely in the middle of nowhere, and my mind was so free. It was kind of weird, and that's why a lot of times when you ask people that are in war zones what's their best time in the military, even though I traveled all over the place, it ends up going back to that spot where you're with people and that's all you have is other people. You have no other distractions, no
Mhm.
bills, nothing. And it's but so when you say about being 5 and having that's the only time I remember ever feeling free from everything. Just my mind was
Wow.
clear. It was crazy though. Yeah.
well, no, Saint. So my breakthrough moment in life was when I was in prison and they put me in solitary confinement for 2 months. That's when everything, like, it shattered everything, and I was like, "What the fuck? All this shit is a lie." Like when I started doing the writing and reading and just looking and introspectively, I was like, "This is what are we doing? What am I doing? Like this is
Mhm.
everything's a lie." Like my whole life changed after that. My whole life changed after that, and I started to strip away those layers from that moment on. Still, like I said, we're still doing it. It's gonna be the rest of my life, I guess.
Yeah, Lily, you were talking about tragedy, and y'all have heard my story before about what happened to me as a kid. And for me, that process of peeling back things happened when I finally had to confront that very event for what it was and not suppressing the memory. And then all these other things, it was amazing. It's like you pop the boil and all that pus and crap starts coming out. And so, yeah, you're right, that we are. I think we talked about it when the woman was on here about polyamorous marriage relationships, and she
Mhm.
mentioned something. We're all running scripts. We've all
Mhm.
got these little scripts running in our head, and
Yep.
me as a programmer, it makes perfect sense. You got like you don't have one, you got like millions of them,
Yep.
maybe, and
I
some are
when
good, some are not so good.
Yep.
You
So
know,
what I call it, I when I do my motivational speaking, I have a saying that I tell the people. It's called I call it note to self, right? So I was at free 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 year old, and then an adult said, "Oh, no, we believe this." I'm like, "Okay, note to self, we believe this,"
Yep.
and then, "Oh, no, 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 don't walk like that, boy. Little boys don't walk like that." I'm like, "Oh, note to self, I gotta walk like this." Okay, and it's all of these
Mhm.
note to selves that just get built up
Yep.
till we just lose ourselves at some point.
Uh-uh. You gotta run in the water like when you have like ants all over you, run in the water so the ants could float away.
Right.
Those are the little scripts.
yeah,
This is the last comment I'm gonna deal with. Research says Black Americans get blamed for everything a NAFTA immigrant does visually. No shade to the panel, but those people are not Black according to their own mouths. Lamuel Plummer is Black, fully Black, blackity Black, Black mama, Black daddy, born in the freaking United States of America. Okay, Black people, FBA do plenty of fuckery, right? And they get, this represents the race, the rappers, the athletes. Like it's not just Caribbean people or African people. Can we stop the cap? Let's stop the cap. It's not just African people, Caribbean people making Black people look bad. Black people do a hell of a job making themselves look bad right here in this country, FBA. Can we stop the cap? Let's just stop it. Lamuel Plummer, the most disgraceful, despicable, okay, display of Black people and Black relationships. A Black man owns that network, and he's very proud of it being $1 billion network. He is a Black man born and raised in the United States of America. Let's stop the cap, please. Por favore. On that note, okay, we got to get out of here. I got a treat for y'all. I'm going to interview a hip hop icon, not Crazy Legs, okay? Mañana So I'm bringing you more and more and more. Okay, I told you the block, we on our way up. Keep telling you that. So I will be. Stay tuned in my community section for the details. But it is a wonderful hip hop icon, a true icon. I mean, this man is amazing as a human being. His character and his art. He's still very active. So stay tuned for that. Check my community section and my On the Block with Jen at Gmail and my On the Block with Jen on Instagram because I will be updating. If you want to support this show, On the Block with Jen, Cash App. This was a hell of a show tonight. Hell of a show tonight. Hope you guys learned a lot of shit. I got to get out of here because I got to make sure I'm up early for the interview. I got a full weekend. I'm going to be highlighting y'all, here and there so you can see what I'm doing this weekend. This weekend's going to be very, very exciting for me. Lots of crazy shit going on. So you have to be on my Instagram to see everything that's going on. And then I'll give you the details of where you can see me interview this hip hop icon mañana.
Is it Vanilla Ice?
Get out. Get out. Get out.
Listen, I'm leaving on that.
Right.
And this was a very good stream. We actually made an intellectual stream from this BS that none of us wanted to talk about. Love you
Very
all.
true.
See you tomorrow.
Good
All
night,
right.
guys.
Well, have a good night.
Good night. Hit that like and subscribe on your way out from Mama. Do not forget, as you see scrolling at the bottom, buy Mama a smoothie. Cash App On the Block with Jen. Stay tuned for my interviews that are also up and coming. Again, if you're not on my Instagram account, On the Block with Jen, you will not be updated. You must be there to be updated for all the shit that's going down this weekend. Thank you so much for spending these 2 hours with us. We appreciate you. The block cannot do this without you. So muchas gracias y amor. Again, if you have a topic suggestion, On the Block with Jen at Gmail, okay? We could go verbal fisticuffs. All right, guys, good night. Thank you, Rod. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. And Mama's gone.